Hi everybody, this is Steve Kodad. Welcome to my presentation on selling homes quickly with less stress using Feng Shui. There are several topics that we're going to be covering in this presentation, but I wanted to give you specifically what the four of them are. We're going to understand about influencing the buyer's subconscious positively and effectively. We're going to understand what predecessor energy is and how to reduce it so that a house actually feels very comfortable for the potential buyer. We're going to focus on the 8 most important moments of a showing, and we're going to show you how to use color correctly that promotes recall, attraction, and creating that balance that we all need. But first, you need to understand there are 3 extremely important concepts for you to use and how they need to be taken care of. You need to understand these so that you can take in the rest of the presentation very well. The first idea is something called Shui. I'm sure you've heard of the term. It's spelled a couple of different ways, as you can see up at the top, depending on what book you pick up. But Shui is a very, very important component of any school of Feng Shui, and there are several schools. Qi is our life spirit. It's what makes you and I move, get up every morning. It can also be replaced very easily with the word energy, which I do quite a bit, depending on who I'm talking to. And Qi is everywhere. It's in the seat that you're sitting in. It's in the ceiling above you. Everything, including yourself and myself, is nothing but energy. We're just vibrating at a very different pace. And this has been proven by scientists over the last 50 years. The number one goal for Feng Shui is to make sure that this Qi, this energy, is abundant and comes to us under control. And if you look at the bottom picture, this represents actually the bad types of Qi. And these are the kind that we want to stay away from when we're trying to sell a house, when we're trying to encourage a potential buyer to make an offer. Now, if you notice, the trees are semi-underwater. That is not normal. That is not natural. In Feng Shui, everything should be natural. So something terribly forceful happened at this point, whether a dam broke or there was a tremendous amount of rainfall, like a hurricane. Any of those things are too powerful, too forceful, and are actually unusable. So if we get the energy into our house, our listing, that's too forceful, it won't be very helpful to us at all. This picture also represents the other bad type. The water now is slowing down. It's stagnating. So we don't want our energy to be stagnant either. Neither one of those, powerful, forceful, or stagnant, are going to work for us. But the picture on the top right does work real well. This is what we're looking for. We're looking for our energy to come back and forth slowly under control. And if you've ever walked by a stream like this, you probably at times wondered if the water was even moving, but it was. It was very slow, under control, going back and forth. Meandering is sort of the correct term here. So that's what we're looking for. That's the type of energy we want to have come into our listings. And once we do that, the feeling of the house will come off as much more positive and much more comfortable. The second option you've got to understand as we go forward is what was referred to as the perfect building site. In Feng Shui, the actual environment, the surrounding environment, was always considered more important than the dwelling itself. In this picture, the best place to have actually built their houses or their temple was about a third to half a way up that mountain on the left-hand side. So they were looking for topology like this, where they could build it with a solid mountain behind them to protect their backs. And at the same time, they were looking for, to the left and to the right, also smaller hills or trees that would protect their flanks. And lastly, they were looking for a situation they could actually see what was coming their way for a long way. Now, this made total sense thousands of years ago. They wanted to have time to react if somebody was coming towards them, where they were either going to run away or get themselves prepared. So this perfect building site is actually how we look at placement. And in Feng Shui, we refer to it as the classic armchair. So how we place furniture, how you're going to place furniture in your listing, is going to be dictated by this idea, the classic armchair. And this is used inside and outside to make the home feel protected, secure, and comfortable. Now, where I live in Florida, we certainly don't have any mountains, and it's possible you don't either, and that's actually not what I'm talking about. So to protect somebody's back and to have a listing that shows or feels that it's got its back protected, we're talking about walls and fences and probably just landscaping like you see in these pictures. So we want to create that buffer behind the house. We want to have that buffer, which gives them that secure feeling, but it also gives them some added privacy. Another idea you need to understand is, again, the idea of safety and security, which I've already talked about. It's so, so important in Feng Shui that if we don't have that in our listing, it doesn't feel safe. Can you understand you're going to have a lot of difficulty getting that one sold? So the first reaction for any human being when they walk into a new environment is, do I feel safe? And this has been the way we've been wired all of our lives, no matter if we're talking thousands of years ago in the savannah. So right now, when we walk into a new environment, we quickly try to make